Hey there, so in this video we'll try to finish off the home page. Okay, so I'm going to the terminal and I'm in a particular location, and then we'll start creating the project here. Okay, so let's run this npx create next app, and our application name is revive images. Okay, so now, or do you want to configure TypeScript for this application? Yes, we'll go with the TypeScript and ESLint as well, and the tailwind says yes. So source directory, I would say no, and app directory also no, and import alias, let's keep it as at the rate. So yeah, and it's going to install the dependencies for us. So let's wait until the project setup is ready. Okay. Okay, so it will install the TypeScript and the tailwind css and the react dom, and give us the initial project setup. Okay, so it has created the project for us. So what I will do is go to our project and open Visual Studio Code here. Okay, yep. So this is the project created for us. Okay, and so first let's try to run this. Okay, so let's try to run this and head back to the browser and see the initial output of the project. Okay, yeah, so this is the thing that is created for us by default. So now go back to our editor and start making changes. So here, if you see here, this is the index.tsx. So we will clear all of this. So we don't want any of the default stuff. Okay, so just check now by adding header one. So like this is home page. So now if you go back, so it should, yeah, and also the all stylings and all we will remove. So whatever they have had it by default, we'll take it off. So this all styles will be removed, and if you go back, yep, so the stylings are all removed, and the index page. Okay, so this is where we'll start configuring the index page first, and then move on to revive page. Okay, so here we will wrap everything inside the main tag. Okay, so first inside the heading, what we will give here, it has reviving, we saw that reviving hold images. Okay, and give some space. Okay, after this we'll create a one span. Okay, inside that we'll configure using AI text, and also the one svg icon, which is like scribbly lines. Okay, so here I'm going to create a span tag. Okay, so let's do this here. So inside this we will have one is for the svg icon and one more for the text. So for now, if I give using AI, so if we go to our input, output. So this is what we are seeing. So let's do some styling for this. And before even that, I wanted to use that squiggly lines svg icon. So for that, what we will do is I will create a new folder called components, and here there I will use this svg icon in as a one component, so that we can use that here. Okay, so let me name that component name as something like, squiggly lines. Okay, and tsx. Okay, fine. So this one, so we are going to export this as a default component from this file. So the function and the name of this component would be same. Okay, that is squiggly lines. Okay, so here we are just going to return the svg icon. Okay, so return svg icon. So the svg icon I have already here, so I will take that from in my notes section. So this is the svg icon for the squiggly lines. Okay, so going to our code base, so this I'm going to use this. Okay, fine. So now going to our index page, the here we'll try to use that component. So here, just before using AI text, I will try to use this squiggly lines component. Okay, and if you now check the output, okay, yep, you see here, this is where this svg icon is. So let's give some styling for this and make it properly appear. Okay, yeah, so first what we will do here is we will give styling for this span. Okay, so let's make this as class name as a relative. Okay, and also white space as no wrap, and give the text color for this as the dynamic color. So the exa code for this is 3290. Okay, yep. So this is the styling we gave, and also, okay, let's check now. Okay, so it is just close to this. Okay, fine. Now what we'll do, this using AI also will wrap in a separate span tag. Okay, so I will use and make this as well a relative. Okay, and then wrap this text inside this tag. Okay, so now let's check it out. Okay, fine. So yeah, so after this, now we'll give styling for this our h1 tag. Okay, since we have to make it look quite bigger, and give some styling for this. Okay, so here first what we'll give is we'll make margin x in the both direction as auto, and the maximum width that it can take will restrict it to the 4xl. Okay, and the font will make it as for now let's make this as medium. Okay, and text size, I'll make this as much as big as possible. So let's make this as 5xl, and make this font as bold. Okay, and the tracking as normal, not tight, and give here the text slate, let's say some, give bigger number 900. Okay, and if it's a smaller screen, we'll increase the text size to the 7xl. Okay, yeah, so now, okay, this I have. So now let's check the output. Okay, yeah, so pretty good. Okay, reviving old image using AI. Okay, fine. So, and after this, so this is the text. that we wanted to showcase. So okay, now if you see, okay, so let's give some space here. So yeah, so going back, yep, okay, okay, fine. And yeah, so this is the header. So going just after this, we will display some content in the p tag. Okay, so the content of this is, have old and blurry face images, just the thing which I showcased in the previous video. Okay, so let our AI revive them so those memories can live on. Okay, so and just give this motivating factor to use, and revive your images today. Okay, so this is the text we will be showcasing. So heading back to the output, you see here this is at the bottom of the screen. So let's use styling for this so that it will be just beneath the our header thing. Okay, so styling for this will be let's make this again as margin x as auto, so that it will lie in the center part of the screen, and give some margin top so that there will be space between our header and the paragraph content, and the max width that it can take is XL. Okay, and make the text size as large, and give the text slate the as 700, and leading make this as 7. Okay, so now let's head and see. Okay, this is good, but not just beneath this. So let's check now. So what we will do here for the main part, so let's give the styling here. So here main section, let's remove the default one whatever we were given. So make this as a flex, and make this as flex 1, and also, so why I'm giving flex 1, so here everything will use the one more div just to wrap the head section, I mean the header and also the main part. Okay, so here we will wrap everything inside main in this div. Okay, so like this. Okay, so now here we'll be, this head component, so we will use this head component to showcase what text in the about tab. Okay, so for now I will give, so now if you see here, the title of this is just localhost 3001. Okay, so for this, the title that I will give is face image reviver. Okay, so now if you go back and see, yeah, I see face image reviver, so that is changed. Don't worry about this, we're going to handle. Okay, so yeah, first after this, as I told, we should have the header, so which would be common to the two pages which we have. So let's build that as a separate component. So that is let's name that as header.tsx inside the components folder, and configure the header, and then reuse that component here. So first I'm going to build the header component. So let's name this as header.tsx. okay, so again this I'm going to export a default function, and the name of the component is header. Okay, and this is going to receive the one input parameter, which is a photo. So you'll know why I'm using this photo, because in the revive page I will be using this header component as well. So here if the user is logged in, I wanted to show that a photo image. Okay, so that is the reason we are receiving the photo as an input parameter for this header component. Okay, and this photo would be of type string, or if there is no photo, we can expect the undefined type as well. Okay, fine. So now let's focus on the UI rendering part. So here we'll make use of the header tag. Okay, and so inside this we'll be having a one is our the logo kind of icon, and to the extreme right we'll have the if the user is logged in, will show that image, or else will show the Vercel, the cloud platform that we are going to deploy that image will be using. Okay, so first so let me wrap in the first image inside the link component of the next live. Okay, so here, because when the user clicks on this, we should be able to redirect to the home page. Okay, so let's make this href will be the redirecting to the home page. Okay, and yeah, so here inside this we are going to render the logo image and then the content of that. Okay, for now yeah, I'll keep it as just a text. Okay, so text we will wrap inside the h1 tag and make this as text as revive images. Okay, so yeah, so this is, so now let's just have this. Okay, I know I didn't give any styling or anything for this, so let's go here and try to use this header component. Okay, so now if I go to the browser and see, okay, so the revive images is there. Okay, so now let's focus on the styling part for the header. So going here, so here header I will give the styling. So for the header component, okay, make this as a flex and justify between so that they will be in both extreme ends. So justify between and make the items as a center and give width as full, and margin type I'll give it as a 5, and a border, let's give bottom as a 2. Okay, and padding bottom, let's give it as a 7. If it's a smaller screen, padding x direction I'll give it as a 4, and padding x direction normal screens will give it as a 2. Okay, so just we have given a styling for the header. So now if you check, so there's a bottom border at the bottom is added, and yeah, the quite a shape for the header component. So now we'll try to style this text. Okay, so h1 tag. Okay, so here h1, so if it's a smaller screen, let's make a text as 4 times XL, or else let's keep to this to the 2 times XL. Okay, and make the font of this h1 tag as a bold, and give margin left little as a 2, and we want this tracking to be tight. Okay, fine. So now if I see this, yep, the styling for the text is reflecting, and yeah, now it looks better. Okay, so that is the header component. Okay, fine. So as I said, we have to include the image for our image icon, and the one more a photo on the Vercel, or if the user is logged in that image. So that I will we have to configure that here. So what I will do that here. Okay, so here after this link, okay, as I said, depending on photo we have to render the user photo, or else the Vercel logo. Okay, so for now I will just keep the Vercel logo. Okay, so here we're going to wrap inside the anchor tag. Okay, and here I'm going to use the image from the next image, and give here the name for this as universal icon, and then source, let's make this as nothing but universal.svg. okay, and give some styling for this. So if it's a small, I'll give width as 10, and if it's a small height, let's give some dynamic, let's say 34 pixel. okay, yep, and width as 8, and height again to 28 pixel. okay, fine, if it's a normal screen. And specify here width as 32 for this image component, and height again to 28. okay, yep. So yeah, so now let's check it out. okay, you see here, this is to the right end, because we mentioned it as a flex and space justify between. okay, so and also for this link tag, so let's give the styling for this, like that is flex 1, so that it will occupy as much, just make it as a flex, and give the space in x direction as a 2. okay, now let's check it out. okay, fine. okay, for now let's keep this header component as like this. So heading back to our index page, that is home page. So after this, we'll have to design two buttons, one to showcase how it's built, and another to redirect it to the restore page. okay, so that just beneath this, let's create one div. okay, and add two components here, I mean two links. So one is the anchor tag. okay, inside this I'm gonna say the text as learn how it's built. okay, learn how it's built. okay, so okay, let's give here, yep. And after this, since we have to navigate, I'll use the link from a next link. okay, and the href, and here also I have to give the href. okay, so here for now I'll just give it's a blank. Here also I'll give for now blank. okay, and the text inside this would be revive your images. okay, so this is the two buttons, you can say, or navigable links. okay, so if I go here, okay, so again, since they are not in the vertical alignment, so first we have to style this main part. okay, so here the main tag, so let's make this as a width full, and make this as a flex call direction. okay, and I want the items to be center, and justify again as a center. Text also I want it to be a center, and padding x direction, let's give it as a 4. if it's a small screen, let's give margin top as 28. if not, let's say 20. okay, so this is the styling for this main part. so now if you see, yeah, so now it's all quite cool. okay, and now yeah, this the learn how it's built revive your images, this is it's missing, it's a styling. so let's go to that part and start styling those two sections as well. so first, for the learn how it's built, for let's make this background as white, and make the rounded as corners as rounded. okay, and the text I will make this color as a black, and font I would make this as a medium, and padding x direction both in a both x direction I'll give us a 4, and in the y direction let's give a 3, and if it's a smaller screen, margin top I'll give is a 10. If not, let's define standard as a 8. And on hovering, let's change the background color to some gray color, let's say it's as 100. Okay, and give the border. So now let's check that. Okay, fine, it's looking good, but it's on top of the above content. So for that again, we have to give the styling to the div which we have wrapped both of this inside. Okay, so let's make this flex and make this as justify center and give space in x direction as a 4. Okay, now if you see, okay, fine, so now it's good, there's enough space. So this also will give styling. So if we go here to this link section, so let's give styling, make this as background as a black and rounded as a corner. So excel and the text I'll make color as white, and font medium, padding x direction let's keep it as same as 4, and padding y direction as 3, and if it's a smaller screen, margin top as 10 or else 8, the same as the above thing. Okay, and if we are hovering on this, let's make a background as black, some by 80. Okay, yeah, so yeah, I think this is okay, fine, I have to close this. Okay, I think this styling does the job, so let's go and check it out. Yeah, so learn how it's built, and also this revive your image is fine. So this styling wise cool. Okay, then after this we'll have one more div where kind of we have to showcase the kind of original image, and also the one example of original image and one example of the restored image. So we're going to build that. Okay, so I have just added the images which I'm going to keep in the description. Okay, and also the link to the code which we are going to keep in our remote GitHub repository, so that you can refer the images. So I have added the logo for cell, and also the one example of myself and original and generated thing. Okay, and also our a kind of a logo. Okay, so this we are going to configure. So first okay, let's focus on building this the images that we wanted to showcase. So after this div, so let's create one div. Okay, and here it's going to be quite styling for us. Okay, so inside this div, let's create a div for first image, and another div for the other image. Okay, so here again I'll create one div, one for the title and one to showcase the text. Okay, I am you'll know why I'm creating these many divs, because of styling issues. Okay, fine, so you can create the other way if you know it. Okay, yep, so this is going to be our header. So this kind of says like, you know, original image. Okay, yep, after this the image, the original image we have to showcase. So let's give the name for this as, you know, original image of me. Okay, and source would be this my image location, that is this, and give some styling for this. So like let's restrict the width to 96 and height also to 96, and make the corners as rounded, so give it as a 2xl. Okay, yep, and here again width of this component, make this as a 400 and height as well 400. Okay, yeah, so this is to showcase the original image. So if you see now, it's going to be vague, but yeah, so this is the original image. So we're going to add the revived image as well. Okay, so just out after this After this div, we're gonna create one more div, and inside that we're gonna create the section for the revived image. Okay, and add that image here. So this again, so give the content for this as revived image of me, and give width as 400, same on the above one. So height again as a 400. Source would be the this, so my name and this. Yep. And the styling would be the width and height would be same 96, and make the rounded corners. And if it's a small screen, let's make the margin no margin top. Okay, if not, let's give it as a 2. Okay, yeah. So this is the revived image. So now if you see, okay, so now it is there on vertical section. So let's do the styling for the divs which we have created. Okay, so first to the, let's do it for the titles. Okay, so for this I'm going to give the margin bottom as 1. Okay, so that there'll be space between the image and the text, and make the font as medium and the text as large. Okay, so now if you see so it's reflected. So going back, so do the same for the above thing as well. So that is give margin bottom as 1, and font medium, and text will make this as large. Okay, yes, oh yep, fine. So after this, let's give styling to the this div. I mean the div which we have wrapped, the div in which we have wrapped these two divs. Okay, that I'm gonna make this as flex, and give, if it's a small space in x direction, as a 2. If not, and also if, make this as a row if it's a smaller screen, and make this as a flex call if it's a bigger screen. Okay, so now let's check it out. Yep, now they are next to each other. So since we made this as a flex row, fine. And now to the above div, little more styling. So let's make this again as a flex, and make this as a call direction, and space in the y direction as 10, and margin top I'll give it as a 4, and bottom as 16. So now if you see the difference, so now there is a space between the above thing and now. So and to the outermost div, so this is, will give it as a flex, and make this as a justify between, and make the items as a center, and give width as full, and make this as flex column direction. And if it's a small screen, let's give margin top as 10, if not as 6. So there'll be little more space now. So now if you see, yep, you see there is a margin top added now. Okay, this looks quite good next to each other, that is in a flex row, and the components, and that's why we have wrapped in this many divs. I mean, let 4. Okay, yeah, fine. Then after this, I think this is it for this page. So there is a footer part. So for that also we'll create a separate component, and try to configure the text whatever is needed in the footer component. So before even that, we had some pending part in the header part. So you see here it's not looking quite good, the header. So let's do that, and also include the image which I have just added. Okay, so going to the header, so header part, first thing I would do is add the logo. thing. So here, just after this link section, I'm going to add the image and add the alt text as header text, and give the source as the image icon which I have just added, that is image icon dot png, and give the styling for this. If it's a smaller screen, let's give the width as 12, and if it's a smaller screen, width as 12. If not, let's make this width and height as a 7. Okay, and here the width again 25, and here the height also 25. Okay, so I've just added the image. So if you see now, you see the image is reflected. Okay, and now we'll change this the right part as well. So here, that is here, as I said, based on conditions, let's do that. Okay, if there is a photo, okay, this is what will be showcasing, that is alt this is be nothing but the profile picture of the logged in user, and the source would be coming in the photo variable, and a class name, let's give width as a 10, and make this rounded as a full so that it will be circle shape, and make this width as 32, and height as, let's say 28. Okay, this is the styling for this image section. Okay, and if there is no photo thing, this is what we will be rendering. So that is this anchor tag. Okay, so this section we will render, and the source is not this, so let's change, that is Vercel logo which I've just added, and this is of type png. Okay, and here I'll have to add the href thing. So for now I'll keep this as blank, and also this will make this as blank so that it will open a new tab. Yeah, okay, yeah, so now let's check it out. Okay, fine. So yeah, now looks good. We changed this image. Okay, now we have to add the footer part, so I'll be adding now. So going to the thing, so let's create a new component called footer.tsx. okay, fine. So let's name the component name as footer itself. So export default function footer, and we are going to return the design part. So inside the footer tag component, we are going to wrap everything. So here, the first, inside the div, the text that we will be talking is powered by the thing that we are using. So first I wanted to mention is the replicate. So inside the anchor tag, let's mention the replicate. Okay, and we wanted to showcase in the separated by comma, so that's why I added the comma and space. And the another anchor tag is for the upload file service that we are using. Okay, so that again I'll be separating, and then I'll be adding the Next.js and Vercel. Okay, so let's do the same for both of them. So I'm just copying this, and okay, so here this is going to be last thing, so that's why I'm using hand, and here change here to the Next.js, and here to the Vercel. Okay, there is no styling, nothing. It is going to look weak, but just first figure out if it's displaying, then focus on styling. Okay, yeah, so going here to the home page, so let's add that component here. So after this main section, let's add that footer part. So now if you see the footer and go back to the output, okay, fine, so the text which we have added is visible. So now let's focus on the styling part. So heading back to the footer section, so this footer thing will give styling for this. So let's make the text as a center for this, and the height of this, so let's keep it as to 16. If it's a smaller screen, increase the height to 20, and the width I want it to take as much as space, that is width full. And if it's a smaller screen, let's give the padding top as 2, or else I'll give 4. And the border I want on the top, so it's I'm giving as a T. Okay, and the margin top I want a little space, 5, and make this as a flex. And if it's a smaller screen, let's make this as a row. Okay, if not, flex column. Okay, and then justify I want it to be between, because we're going to add the icons, that is a Twitter and GitHub icon to the right part. So let's make this as a between, so that they'll be on the extreme ends. Okay, and after this, let's make the items as a center. Okay, and padding in x direction as 3, and the space let's give it as 3. And if it's smaller screen, no margin bottom. If it is other screens, let's make this as a 3. Okay, so we just gave the styling for this, but not to the individual anchor tags. Okay, now let's check it out. Okay, so margin border at the top is added, and there is enough space, and okay, fine. So now let's do the styling for this each anchor tag content. Okay, so that is for this. And before even that, let's do the styling for the div in which we have wrapped all our tags. Okay, fine. So let's focus on styling for these anchor tags first. Okay, so here the stylings, let's make the text of them as a bold, and make this as transition. And however, I'm going to change the text to the black color. So let's give the like 50. Okay, yeah, so this is it. So now let's check for the first thing and do the same for the other thing. Okay, you see here now the styling is added for the replicate. So now if you see I'm hovering, the text color is changed. So let's do the same for the remaining anchor tags. So for the upload, so the style would be same, font bold, and transition, and then hovering, text black, do it as a 50. Okay, so since it's going to be same, I'm just going to copy this and use the same for the remaining two parts as well. So, okay, and fine, and do the same for this cell content as well. So now if you see, yep, so the styling is added for the all the 4 things. Fine. After this we will have one more div where I said we'll be adding the tag for div for the GitHub link and the Twitter link. So this is where we're going to wrap inside this. So we're going to wrap inside the link component. Okay, and here first thing would be the Twitter. So I'll just give my account. So twitter.com/my username. Okay, yeah, and give the class name here as group. Okay, and fine. So here I have the svg icons for the Twitter and the GitHub, so I am going to take that. And also after this, one more link component for the GitHub sections. For now I'm just going to give general GitHub user, my user account GitHub. Okay, fine. So once we create this repo and push it, then we will change the link to that repo. Okay, so and make this class name again as a group. Okay, fine. So now I'm going to take the svg icons in the note section which I'm keeping now. So I'll just go. So here first I'm be taking the for Twitter. Okay, so yeah, so okay, first let's check the output. Okay, you see here Twitter is added. Okay, yeah, and do the same for GitHub as well. So GitHub, so I'm going to add here the GitHub. Okay, so now you see the output, they are in the vertical aligned, so I will change that. So that is, we'll give styling for this div. So let's make this as flex, and the space x direction, give it as a 4, and make this padding bottom as 4, and if it's a smaller, no padding bottom. So by default it will be in the row, so if you give flex, so it should be next to each other now. Okay, yeah, so they're next to each other, so clicking on this should take us to the link which we have provided. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. So yeah, this is it for the footer. So now if we go to the overall thing, so I think the homepage is in pretty good shape. Yeah, so this is it for this video. I think we have built what we targeted in this video. In the next video, we'll focus on the revive page, and also the API calls, configurations, and environment variables configurations, and yeah, the pending parts to complete this application. Okay, yeah, thank you so much.